The halacha is that on the night of the Seder, we have an obligation to eat shmura matzah. Not just any matzah, it has to be special matzah, which is shmura, from the language of being watched. This is matzah that's made from flour, which was grinded from wheat that had been watched from the time that it was cut. What was it watched, shmura, from? It was watched from becoming chametz, that this wheat never became wet, the flour never became wet, in which the process of chimutz could take place, so that we know for sure that it did not become chametz. This flour is then made into the matzah that we eat on the Seder night. There are those who have the beautiful custom of eating shmura matzah for the entire Pesach, but at a minimum, the halach is that one has to have shmura matzah for the Seder night. Now this shmura matzah is considered to be a beautiful hidur, which means that when we have the opportunity to perform the mitzvah, we try to do the mitzvah in the best, most beautiful way possible. So the hidur mitzvah is using this special type of flour. That's why there are those who keep it for the entire week of Pesach. But at a minimum, we use it for the Seder night, the shmura matzah. The story is told about a chassid who went into Rabbi Yitzchak Mineshchis, his Rebbe. He went to his Rebbe and he looked very, very sad right before Pesach. So his Rebbe asked him and says, "Why do you look so sad?" So the chassid explained to his Rebbe, he told him, he revealed to him why he was looking so downtrodden. He said that the wheat that he has saved, that he's watched, that was shmura from the time that he cut it, that he prepared then to make the matzah of Pesach, became chametz. It came in contact with water, the process of chimutz began, and therefore became chametz. He no longer had the flour from which to make shmura matzah. And therefore, he was all upset. He was very sad. So it was getting right before Yom Tov, and the Rebbe hears what the chassid said, and he says to his chassid, he says, "Hold on a second. Think for a moment." He says, "Shmura matzah is a hidur." A hidur means, as we said, it's the best possible way to do it. But it's not the only way to do it. You can still have regular matzah that didn't have the hidur of being watched from the time it was cut. He says, but the mitzvah of simcha, the mitzvah of joy, of being happy, bachag, on the Yom Tov, that's a mitzvah min Torah. That's a mitzvah that comes from the Torah, and that's the way the holiday, the Yom Tov, Chag Pesach, is to be celebrated. B'simcha, with joy. After all, the Yom Tov of Pesach, Pesach, one of the names for it, is the holiday, the Yom Tov of Cherus, of freedom. We're free. If we're free, that means we have to have Simcha. It says the Rebbe, Simcha is an obligation from the Torah. Eating Shmura Matzah is a hidur, is just something which is beautiful, extra beautiful. But it is more important to have Simcha than it is to have Matzah that is Shmura. He says it's better off for you to have simple Matzah and have it b'simcha than it is for you to have Shmura Matzah and have it with sadness. And I think it's an important lesson for all of us as we prepare for Pesach, as we celebrate Pesach throughout the week, that sometimes we become so focused on different hidurim in our desire to try to keep the mitzvahs as beautifully as possible. Sometimes we make everyone around us a little bit crazy as far as trying to make sure and be so careful and make sure that everything is done as quickly as possible, make sure everything is done perfectly, and that life is not always perfect. And that's okay too. Because if it takes our actions, if our actions cause from someone else in our family to have their simcha taken away from them because there's so much drama that's taking place in the home because of the desire to do everything so beautifully, so says the Rebbe, that's not the mitzvah of Simcha on the Yom Tov, which is an obligation from the Torah. It's more important for us to have a simple Yom Tov, but be b'simcha, than to have a perfect Yom Tov, but cause others to lose their Simcha and to not enjoy the holiday of Pesach. And this is especially true when it comes to all of our preparations, that we should strive to prepare and enjoy the Yom Tov with a sense of Simcha, therefore fulfilling and thereby fulfilling our obligation of the Torah of V'samachta b'chagecha. Thank you for listening. Chag kasher v'sameach.